Hello, I may cuss, but I don't curse. Let's get that situated first. And this time around, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to do Our Souls Broken, the Gemini season edition. Yeah, so I decided to continue this, talking about the hologram. You know, how we can detect whether our souls are broken by whether we like or dislike what we see. And a lot of it has to deal with focus and concentration, all of the traits that are associated with the sun, especially or predominantly likes and dislikes. And if we find that there are no solutions to what it is that we dislike, then our souls may be broken and need some fixing. If we do like what we see, that's a bonus and a given, I guess, right? But let's get into it. I'll tell you, I know Gemini season is not completely over, but I decided to get ahead of the curve because I feel like I'm getting the downloads real quick. Especially, I think it got something to do with Gemini season. So the quicker that I catch them, the quicker I articulate them and get them out of the way, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So we get these lessons out there, Can't keep it unless you give it away type shit. So what I've learned Gemini season is, first thing is, this is the first time that I noticed the benefits of small talk. I've told you that. I touched on it a bit on my Dating the Gemini Woman video. And but simultaneously, I also still seen the detriment of small talk associated with Gemini as well. So, I guess it's a 50-50 thing. You know what I mean? But second, I also felt how masculine the sign is. And I always knew Gemini was a masculine sign, right? But maybe because I was paying closer attention because, I'm doing this for scientific research and purposes, that I really paid more attention to that. And when I say masculine, I mean like going after something, going towards something. If you want to speak to someone, speak to them. And that how much of a difference it takes to be face to face speaking to someone. That's a masculine thing. Like, hey, I want to talk to you. No, I want to talk to you in person. And I don't mean this on some like bully or violent type of thing, even though it can get to that level. I just mean that that's partial of the reason why Gemini is a masculine sign, because it rules over communication in your community, right? To commune. So you're bound to run into your neighbors. Like, I've been having a ball, by the way. Like, well, I guess you could say it's not a ball, but I've been communicating with my neighbors more than usual lately. And it's just been real like, hey, how's it going? How's the kids? Oh, they're getting big, aren't they? Little gremlins, you know what I'm saying? They better take care of you when they get older. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing that for a little minute now. And it's just been like, very congenial, very harmonious, very, you know what I'm saying? But there's other instances where I notice, and I think I found like a pocket where people are talking about this whole toxic masculinity thing. I've seen women be aggressive during this Gemini season. So again, it's a masculine sign. It doesn't matter what gender you are. I've seen women explode. I'm going to get to this, right? I'm going to get to that. But I think I discovered a pocket of where that's at. And again, I think it has a lot to do with communicating with someone on the phone or via the internet, in contrast to communicating with someone in person. So this is where, it can escalate to get violent and nasty and, disrespectful and stuff like that. So I was like all over the community during this Gemini season, like mad different places and stuff, right? Going to meetings, conferences, all types of stuff, going to speak to people and stuff like that. And I witnessed this one person get hostile, and this was a woman, right? This is why I said gender don't matter. And I realized why there's like bulletproof casings and stuff like that in certain institutions and organizations and buildings and stuff like that, to protect those people from the people that come in there to talk to them. This one woman actually had to get escorted out. I thought she was going to come back and shoot the place up. She had some gangsters with her, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just looking like, she looked so angry, and she had tattoos on the neck and all that, you know what I'm saying? Sound like I'm being stereotypical, right? I'm just keeping it a bean. I'm from New York. I know what I be seeing, you know what I'm saying? Them chicks will give it up too, but especially when they got some gangster dudes walking with them, you'd be surprised how much a girl can manipulate a man to crash out. Here nor there though, right? They had to get escorted out by security, and I witnessed the mental fragility of Gemini energy being exposed. And this is no offense to Geminis, by the way. Pisces rules over mental illness, so I know exactly how it feels to have a sign that's rooted in dualism. You know what I'm saying? So Geminis, don't be offended by this, but I seen the scattered thoughts that is always ruled by Gemini. Excuse me. But you sprinkle a little lie in there, and because a little lie. See, this is what happened, right? Because after the girl and the gangsters left, right? I overheard some of the wiser counsel, right, that runs the joint, having a conversation, and they were explaining why the woman did not get her way. She did a little lie. It was a little lie, but you see, this is how it goes. When you're dealing with people who are like Saturn ruled and they play by the book, you can't get over on those people. You can't do the con game thing with them because they don't play that shit. They're not trying to hear none of that shit. The book is the book, and they will throw it at you, and that's it. That's why the windows are there. That's why the security guards are there and all that. They don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, no is no, and that's it. Like, you lying. You know? So, the cooler heads that prevailed in the building, I guess we can call them, they were discussing why it didn't go their way. And, Shorty had did a little lie. She sprinkled a little lie in there. The rest was the truth. But she said some bullshit, and that's why it didn't go her way. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to show that when things could escalate, because I'm talking about this chick was screaming through the top of her lungs, and she wasn't trying to let nobody move her. You know what I mean? And when communication reaches that level, and this is what I mean about how it can get dangerous, because things escalate, and the next thing you know, it spirals out of control. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Gemini season and things spiraling out of control based upon communication, first I want to say condolences to the couple that got murdered in Las Vegas recently. It happened during Gemini season, so I felt I should make it a point now. To my understanding, I don't know the in-depth details of it, but to my understanding is they had a YouTube rivalry. I don't even know how that happens. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how that happens, and then you still end up seeing each other in the community, I guess. It's not funny though. Stop, Benji. Stop. It's a serious thing. It's a tragic thing that happened to murder a couple because you got some YouTube drama. Like, it's just bizarre, very bizarre. But this is what I mean about the mental fragility and the snapping. And they don't have to be a Gemini. I don't know what sign they were who did the shooting, but it's the season. This is what I'm trying to say. You'll see the characteristics of the sun wherever the sun is transiting most, because it's the sun that shed lights on the energy. So you see, like, dude just snapped. And I heard somebody say, I don't know how true it is, but like he had mental issues and stuff like that anyway. And this is like, but people used to egg him on, like, pump him up in the comment section and stuff like that. And then he like carried out like exactly what somebody in the comment section told him to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, what? And, I just thought I'd make note of that because it's Gemini season, and that's part of the detriment, you know what I'm saying, that comes from. Let me go further, because I don't want to say just small talk. There's a catch, you know what I'm saying? Because on the flip side, look, right, there's pros to this. And like I said, I talked to my neighbors, all of the high buys and all that. It's all good. It's all gravy, you know what I'm saying? But yet there are outside instances that have gone haywire. So I've noticed with not just others suffering to communicate well, but even with myself, like, something a bit disturbing I observed. And like when I was talking about the bar, I think that was part one of this series. I was talking about going into the bar, right? And I was we was talking about the sun being inside of Taurus, and I was in the bar, and I might have not mentioned this, but I had used some cash to pay for the second beer, because I heard that you don't have to pay taxes on cash when you tip the bartender and stuff like that, right? So I paid for the second beer with cash, whatever. So that showed me, like, all right, if Taurus and if Uranus and Taurus did one thing and showed us anything, it's that tangible things still have value, and that Taurus' stubborn ass energy is going to make sure that the dollar remains stable. You know what I'm saying? And it did that with stable coins. Um, and I think this thing that I found that I find disturbing has something to do with Uranus about to leave Taurus in July. I think it's July 7th, and it's going to go into Gemini. And a correlation of Jupiter transiting Cancer right now would have just entered on June 9th. So the aspect is a semi-sextile, which is when two planets are 30 degrees apart from each other, which results in something that is mildly beneficial. Mildly. You know what I'm saying? It's not spectacular or anything like that, but, you know, I've been looking for the silver lining in it. And maybe it's too early to say for sure what I think it might be, but my concern is that there will be inconsistencies, or, like I said, like little lies online or told over the phone that when you meet people in person, it don't match, it don't click well, and it's like, well, that's not what was said on the phone, that's not what was said on the internet. And, you know, people are having information, basically people are having information that looks one way on the internet and looks different in person, or wasn't what they said on the phone. Like, I spoke to the lady, they supposed to have this information when I get here, this and the third, and then you get there and they don't, it's not there. And they be like, check the computer, and they be like, I'm looking at the computer right now and it says this. And then you be like, well, I just looked at the computer over there. It's like, you know how they say about TikTok and China and America, the difference? Like, China sees one TikTok, we see another TikTok. I see a lot of that happening in the future, y'all. I see Uranus transiting Gemini is going to be a lot of that, because I think we overlook, I'm not saying we overlook like I caught somebody overlooking it, but we should be mindful that Uranus is unpredictable in a way that one thing may be this way one day, and then the next day it flips and it totally jumps and something got changed around, and you're like, whoa, what's that about? And it creates some type of rebellious energy either in either party. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so, because it's like, yo, how could you change the rules like that overnight? Like, the fuck do you think this is? So it's weird, man. I feel like it's going to be weird, and I feel like all electronic environments are suspect. You know what I'm saying? So here I go with my skeptical shit, like, you know, and there's a lot of hoopla about, yeah, we're trying to get these electrical cars on the road, and we're only going to be driving electrical cars, and we're stopping making pennies, and we're only going to have digital money, no more cash, and things of that nature. And listen, man. Listen. Because, listen, personally, right, I went to a meeting a few days ago, and I went to the person, and I was like, listen, I spoke to so and so and so. They supposed to have communicated to you the same thing that we communicated, and yeah, just look at the computer. You're gonna see everything that I'm talking about. And they looked at the computer and they was like, no, that's not what's here, and that's not what happened. And I'm like, so now you already know. I'm thinking like, okay, this is going to make me look stupid first, or even worse, bars, it's gonna make me look crazy, right? Especially if I escalate and start raising my voice and say, listen, I know what the fuck I said. I know what I saw. I know what we talked about. I know they said it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be there. Look again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm catching myself like, all right. And there's intricacies. There's almost like, so what's happening is, especially in organizations like corporate organizations, I guess it's the hierarchy, what do they call that? The chain of command, to where everyone's not getting access to the same information. So when you go and speak to people in person, now mind you, what I said about Gemini and the masculine energy, right, is you being physical, you actually going towards something that you want. And there's a significance when you actually meet someone in person. You go to meet the person in person, and they don't have access to the meat and potatoes. Pause, like, yo, that's crazy work. But you get what I'm saying? Like, they should, if you're going to meet someone in person to talk about something important, right? And the person that you spoke with on the phone or on the internet with, y'all have this real smooth conversation about all of the important information and everything. And they give you their word, this is how this goes and this is how that goes, and then you get to like maybe follow up or do some confirmation in person with the organization, and the person that you meet in person doesn't have that information, it's awkward to me, B. If anything, the person that you see in person better have that information. I'd rather them have the information than the person I'm speaking to on the phone. You remember secretaries and like gatekeepers and what do you call that? Switchboard operators and shit like that. Like, what happened to those people? Like, what happened to that? Now the people that you get on the phone with are the major players or the head executives, and the people that you go speak to in person, they don't know everything, and they acting clueless, and they look at you like you wow. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, and try to make you look crazy. But you got to remember, this is seeing people in person. So it's like a recipe. You get where I'm going with this? It looks like a secret recipe that's just put out there to troll people, to see where you're going to go with it next, or you're going to get angry, or you're going to get mad. And it's just like, yo, look in the computer again, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like Shorty was going off. I'm not even gonna say everything that she was saying, because it's just, and I got a wild mouth. I cuss, but I don't curse. You know what I'm saying? But Shorty was wilding on them in there, and I'm like, damn. Imagine if these windows and shit wasn't up. Like, she would have hooked off on one of them. Definitely the one she was speaking to. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird. It's a disturbing, dystopian type of energy that's going on, and it's like, it's like potential triggers that are going to be out there during that transit, and that transit is going to be way into the 30s, right? Like, come on, B. And I think during that whole transit, we got to be on point for that. And I was just excited about Uranus going inside of Gemini. I was telling somebody else, like, yeah, it's going to be a great time for people who use communication and electronics and the internet and stuff like that, which I still believe to be true, but there's going to be something different. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But look, let's get back to Uranus being in Taurus, showing us the stable coin. And crypto is what I'm talking about, y'all. In contrast to the meme coin. And if you fell for the meme coin, that's on you. I ain't trying to beat you up or anything like that, pause. But, yo, you know, the meme get rich quick scheme happened. It's still happening, and if you want to do it, what can I say? You know what I'm saying? But Uranus and Taurus, stubborn as, showed us, listen, y'all play with those meme coins all y'all want. This coin is going to be stable, and this proves my theory of planets falling inside of signs being badass. Go check out the series in my membership if you haven't. It proves my theory correct, because that stable coin ain't go nowhere. It stayed pegged to the dollar, and it remained there. You know what I'm saying? Now, nobody might be celebrating it because they didn't get rich off of the stable coin. But if you're looking at things in the long term, if you're a long-term investor, you'll see how it made sense. That stable coin stayed tied to the US dollar, because no matter what, the dollar is the dollar. And that brings me to this. All this talk about, right, like I said before, no more pennies, no more cash being used, electric cars only on the road and shit like that. I foresee that there's going to be many complications and obstacles when it comes to that. I think they think that was going to be ushered in very easily, and it was going to be no pushback, no blowback, and people weren't going to go. And I think that there's going to be like a severance, almost like the TV show. That's a badass TV show, by the way, but not enough. It's not similar enough to this to make it a point. But there's going to be a severance, and it's taking place because it was offset by Uranus being in Taurus, which is still there right now. And during this time, right, it popularized tangible things again. This is the Uranus falling in Taurus energy. It popularized things being tangible again. So I feel like we need balance. So my advice, my theory, my conclusion for this is keep some cash. Like, I was even almost going for it. Like, yeah, fuck, who uses cash anymore? Which I don't. Who the fuck carry? I'm not carrying a bunch of cash around. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? But now, like, my experience at the bar and all that with the cash and contrast to the borrow some nights. We know that already. To the the digital money to pay them and stuff like that. Like, it's something about tangible touch that's going to be so much more valuable when Uranus starts transiting Gemini. I'm telling you, B. The tangible stuff, the prostitution stuff, the hey, give me $50, give me $40, let me knock that down. All right, let me stop. I'm fucking with y'all. But you get what I'm saying? Like, because Uranus being up in Gemini, all in the air, it's an air ruling planet in the Gemini sign, is going to be so much of a heavy emphasis on the internet. And then you can see it already in some traces of areas to where people are just addicted to the internet, B. They can't get off. They won't get off. They don't, and then in some instances, it's like, why should you get off? Especially if you're making money through it and stuff like that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's going to be a great times rolling in because Uranus is moving in Gemini for those purposes. But at the same time, you're going to need a break, B. You're going to need a break. You're going to start saying, like, yo, I want to go to the park. I want to touch some tree. I want to hug some trees. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, it's like you're going to see more instances with people in public going off and being irate. I'm telling you. And it's going to be more dangerous in certain places. I'm telling you. I don't want to wish that, like, you know what I'm saying? But I can foresee it if people don't comprehend what's actually going on. You know what I'm saying? Because we're officially going into the Matrix, y'all. Is pretty much what I'm saying. Like, or you seen the movie The Surrogate with Bruce Willis? Another dope ass movie. Yeah. We're going into that literally when Uranus goes into Gemini. So, which brings me to this, right? Remember in the Matrix when Cypher, was his name Cypher or Zero? Maybe his name was Zero in the comic book. I think his name is Cypher. The Zero character in the Matrix. Who was the traitor, you know what I'm saying? And what he said in the movie, he said, yo, give me a stake and make me a Hollywood movie star. He wanted to go back to the Matrix. He was done with that shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean, like, there needs to be some type of balance. Like, so some might argue with me on this, like, yo, Cypher was wrong, you wildin', you know what I'm saying? Neo's the one. Listen, B, my opinion, this is my take on it. I think Cypher was right, B. Because it's one thing to be the one, and then you got the baddie with the bicycle and all that, you know what I'm saying? You got the homeboy who's, Morpheus and all that. Like, you got your little crew and all that, and y'all, you can get inside the real world where you got all your fancy computers, you jack it up into your head, pause, it's crazy, but get jacked up to it, you learn all of these wonderful, beautiful things, make you fly, learn kung fu and all that. I see that as dope, yeah. I see that as a reference to creators being creative and making more movies to the utmost when Uranus starts transiting Gemini and making each other fly all over the place and, turning books into movies and series and stuff like that. And more great TV is going to be coming out of this time and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's for. But when it's time to go outside, like, yo, let me live the accolades of being the movie star. Let me go sit and enjoy being famous in a restaurant somewhere eating a fucking steak. I don't want to hear that shit about the one and we still gotta be the one and be running from agents when we come out. I'm a fucking star already. Like, knock it off, B. We gotta have some balance. I'm telling you, I got this insight, B, and it was like in the movie The Matrix, they didn't get that balance. What happened? They got dressed up, suited up, booted up, came outside. And what homeboy did when he betrayed them? Cypher. He did what? He threw the fucking cell phone in the garbage. He threw that shit in the garbage. So Gemini rules over electronic gadgets, right? Rules over mobility, rules over communication. So we're talking about the cell phone, ultimately ruled by Aquarius, but you get what I'm saying, right? Uranus rules over Aquarius too, and it's transiting through Gemini. So it's like, yo, that was the clue right there. He got rid of that cell phone. Like, man, listen, we are who we are when we over there. Be in the real world. When I come out here, give me my fucking steak, man. I don't even want to remember my name right now. Like, get the fuck out of here with the one shit. It's like, this is why they say we need these to communicate. This is why the agents keep finding our ass. And when you look at the real world, right or wrong, y'all, the surveillance state is heavy just because of that. Right or wrong. It's heavy. You turn on the TV or YouTube every day, every other day, and you see, I don't know if y'all follow hood vlogs or not, but every other day there's a dude getting knocked off and a judge is putting his lights out. That's slang for like giving you football numbers, if you didn't know. But a judge is somewhere putting their lights out because they got pinged off of a cell phone tower when they went to do their crime. And they shouldn't have been doing a crime in the first place, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, if they are getting caught up like that, everybody's on camera everywhere they go and everything they do. So I'm saying like this, yo, learn the roads. Go back to that. Remember we had maps, bars, some nights. We know that already. Learn the roads in your hood, B. At least in your immediate vicinity, in your community, which is Gemini rules. You know what I'm saying? Don't be reliant on GPS tracking you. Don't be relying on your cell phone. Like I don't know if y'all seen my post that I posted. I said, yo, my cell phone going haywire. It still is right now. I just turned it off. So I'm not talking to nobody. Everybody who's talking to me right now, they can't get through to me. And I'm through turning it on because I'm going to throw it. I am going to throw it at the fucking wall and break the shit, B. Right? So remember what I was talking about earlier. This sudden haywire shit going on or inconsistency in communication is going to make people, it's going to trigger people. They're going to flip. So it's bugged out. So I'm going to just insert in this here real quick. I don't know if it got something to do with this or not, but ever since I've been recording my dreams every time I wake up, I've been doing this for a while. But the other day, like a couple of days ago, is when every time after I record a dream in the morning when I wake up, that's when my phone starts going haywire. And then I'll be out in the town trying to like get it fixed and make moves and all that, and it don't be busting the dope moves for me. And I'll be like, yo, I'll be tight. I get back in the house, y'all, and then the phone starts acting normal again. It didn't do it tonight, though. I don't know. I'm going to try again later on tonight when I lay down. But am I reaching? Am I looking too deep into it? Maybe, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm recording dreams from the other world, and then it starts to go haywire. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but I don't believe in coincidences. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Maybe it's signaling to me to record my dreams in my desktop again, which I used to do now. For those of you who don't know, people who build electronics, they build desktops for the home, and they build, of course, the laptops for traveling, and, of course, the mobile phones for mobility. Again, Gemini rules over mobility, and I think Jupiter transit in Gemini has something to do with that as well, because it's hinting towards, and this is another thing that I foresee, and it may just be during the Jupiter transit in Gemini. I don't know, we're going to see when it gets to Leo, but it might just remain the same due to what KRS said about planets transiting Aquarius that behave like they're in Cancer. So if we got Uranus, which rules over Aquarius, we can make a distinction between those two things and say, well, I think that we're going to be, especially creatives, are going to be pushed in the home and like coerced almost into getting home internet and not travel and enjoy the benefits of receiving, like a negative feminine sign does with Jupiter transit in Cancer. Jupiter loves to be in Cancer, by the way. It's exalted there. It loves to be there. I just got a gift. My buildings are privately owned now, so I just got a gift. It's not really a gift, but I guess, you know, we all got them for natural gas alarms. And we got all types of alarms in here, but it's like, and I don't know if y'all heard my story. I posted it online before, and I was like, yo, we almost died in this motherfucker back when Jupiter was transiting Gemini. You know, Jupiter's a detriment inside of the sign of Gemini. And the reason we almost died, my next door neighbor went on vacation and left the fucking stove on, B. And if it wasn't for the security guard outside in the booth, like doing their laps around the building, we would have blew up in this motherfucker. Because all it takes is like a door to slam hard enough, a spark anywhere. Once the gas is leaked out that much, like they went on for like, I think 11 to 13 hours with that gas on. I'm in here all day working, and then I went to sleep. Like, this is one day I did not come outside at all. So I was woken up at 11 p.m. like, yo, you smell gas? I'm like, no. Woken up by my bed, but I opened the door and I stepped in the hallway. I'm like, hell yeah, I smell gas. What the fuck going on out here? Come to find out, man, all day that shit been blowing through the building, B. Fire department had to come in, axe the door down and all that, shut that shit off. They left the doors open in every which way, you know what I'm saying, to get ventilation through this motherfucker and all that. So, you know, the building manager was like, yo, how the fuck was we right here and we didn't smell that? Or our alarms didn't go off, because we got alarms that supposedly supposed to detect them. I was like, I don't know. That's a real good question. He was like, we got to make sure that shit don't happen again. I was like, you right, you know. Again, Gemini talking to my neighbors and shit, you know. So now today, and Jupiter just entered Cancer on the 9th. So today's the 12th, and they came in, placed the natural gas alarm right above my stove. Cooking is about to take place, Jupiter in Cancer. I've been cooking more at home lately. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I foresee. It's going to be more creators being at home. Working from home is going to explode. It may look like, you know, they're trying to force people back into the buildings to work. And listen, I don't foresee that. As much as they want to bring back the old, you know, do coal and all that, yeah, you might as well leave pennies in circulation, because what the fuck are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? You're either with the future or you're not. You know what I mean? But like I said, it needs to be some balance, and I foresee that there's going to be some balance, especially with that transit. Yeah, especially with that transit. Now, will things change when Jupiter goes inside of Leo? Like I said, I don't know, but I think people should take advantage of Jupiter being inside of Cancer to receive the feminine energy through, because this is another thing that I peeped when my phone was going haywire, was that it kept going to my Amazon app, opening up my Amazon app, and then it kept opening up my gaming apps. So I'll be gaming and shit sometimes. So when I get paid, like, instead of going to the PayPal payout, the phone kept, it was like it was pressing the buttons on its own. It kept going to the Amazon gift cards, like trying to buy Amazon gift cards. And I'm like, again, I don't believe in coincidences, B. I don't. So I'm like, because sometimes when I be on my lazy shit, or I guess when I just be on my relaxing shit, I'll order the Amazon food to come to me. You know what I'm saying? The groceries to come to me, which is a great fucking convenience when you got Amazon. You know what I'm saying? At your fingertips, and it's like, it's something in the air, B. It's something in the air. So I can't say that my soul is not broken, because I did not detest everything that I saw, and I was able to see solutions for the things that I did not like when I did see them, and I did notice them, and I got some foresight. So I guess you could say I'll be doomsday prepping for that reason, and you know, I'm glad I got a chance to communicate that with y'all. But anyway, get in the comment section. Let me know, did y'all experience any of those types of things in your everyday travels during Gemini season? Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Until next time, I'm out.